Morning all. So I'm back on Alton, Alton Water in Suffolk. I'm going to go through, it's November the 12th and we're heading into winter, and we've had a couple of cold easterly winds. So I'm going to go through my winter tactics for bream on a big venue. I mean, all 400 acres of it. Deep water. I'm actually going to be fishing at 16 rod lengths, my favourite distance. There's a reason why I fish at that distance. I've always said no self-respecting double figure bream going to swim within 50 yards of the bank. There are exceptions to that, but generally speaking that's the rule of thumb. And I think the reason they don't come close is big body mass. They feel any vibration, you're making noise on the bank, they're feeling it. So I mean, at Hemmingford Grey, where it was pea shingle gravel, I used to put carpet in front of my bivvy just to dampen the sound of my feet on the ground, because it was pea shingle all the way out, and you'd push them fish another 50 yards further out than that. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm changing my ground bait approach. I'm changing my rigs very slightly, all to accommodate the cold weather. The fish not feeding as much as they would do in the summer months. You know, you can still catch in the winter on here. Any big venue like this, people go, oh yeah, no, the bream will shut up shop. Trust me, they ain't going 6 months without eating. First thing is fish location. You've got to know where they are at certain times of the year, but it's then how you feed that area and what baits you use, and rigs and so on and so forth to attract bites. So I'll go through my ground bait now. Right, so I'm going to go through my ground bait. It's going to be similar to what I use in the summer. It's just the quantity is going to change, and the way I feed is going to change. So crushed up krill boilies, you can see they're just broken into bits and pieces rather than crushed into powder. So there's a couple of handfuls of those have gone in. Then I'm going to put a small amount of this Vitaline, Vita Carp they call it now. I'll get this from Dean's Tackle. I'll get all my gear from Dean's Tackle. So literally just a couple of handfuls of that as sight attraction. Then I've got some of my Grimsby 66 of fish meal, high protein, 66% protein. Not going to put as much of this in this week. Don't want too much protein, don't want them getting too full up. The water temperature, although it's been mild for a couple of weeks, relatively speaking, 14 degrees or so, it's been chilly at night. And we've had a couple of days recently of southeasterly winds, and they've cooled the water down dramatically. In fact, just from last week it's gone down by 4 degrees. It's still a good temperature, still 11 Celsius, but it feels cold to touch. Last week it didn't. So yeah, so I'm going to put a handful, good amount of micro pellet. Again, the idea behind these little pellets is they spread out over a big area and they create a carpet for the fish to graze on. I'm then going to put a handful, and I mean a handful, of 4 mil pellet, just to give them a bit more food content without it being too much protein. What I want to do really with the idea of that, the old-fashioned trout pellets, they're high oil content, and they'll put a vapor trail out in the water, scent trail, and hopefully attract the fish. And then my go-to Dean's Tackle, the old krill ground bait, good amount of that. Normally I'm putting anything between 25 and 30 balls of ground bait out. I'm going to put 12 out this week. But where I'm going to change slightly, and I'll show you that. Then I've got some black crumb, because the bottom here is really dark, and I don't want a big area of light ground bait on the bottom. There's, you know, I'm catching big bream in here and they've got scars on them from pike, and because of that, because it's in their psyche to be scared about being attacked by pike, they're not going to swim over a pale area. So you put pale ground bait, light brown or white crumb, on the bottom, as much as they want to eat it, they're not swimming over the top of it, because it makes them feel like they're a sitting target. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. On the subject, so what I'm going to do, if the fish if the fish are responding well to what I've put out, I'm going with a slightly bigger feeder. That's the size I normally use. This is the size I've gone for this week. It's slightly bigger, so if I'm getting bites, I'm recasting regularly, I'm topping up a bit more bait rather than with the slightly smaller feeder that I normally use. Like I say, I'm putting a dozen balls out instead of 25, 30 balls. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to get that mixed up and get it catapulted out now, and I'll get back to you. Cheers guys, thanks always for watching. Oh, and incidentally, on the subject of my cancer, I got the report back from urology, and they said what they'd taken away in the operation 3 weeks ago was benign, but there were a couple of unusual cells in amongst it. They weren't cancerous cells, they were possibly pre-cancerous cells, but they've taken away anything that looked a little bit iffy. So effectively I'm clear, but they're going to check me again in 4 months, and I guess that's going to be the process for the next 5 years. I mean, that's what they do. That's the cancer pathway. They're checking you on a regular basis. So I feel better. Bizarre thing to say, but I remember saying to my surgeon, Desh Pandy, first time around when I had in my kidney, get this damn thing out of me. I could almost feel, whether it was mentally I could feel it, I had it. I feel like I haven't got it, and I can't really explain that. And do you know, I turned up last week with Gaz, and Stuart was here. Stuart instantly is fishing with me this week. Gaz has got commitments, can't make it. Gaz went, oh, you got your sparkle back. And people who know me well know the difference between like that and like that. So anyway, let's get me bait mixed up and I'll get back to you. Right, so for those of you who haven't seen this before, as I said, I'm going with a dozen balls. I use one of these old Drennan Whopper droppers. I've had it over 20 years. The elastic used to be red, but it still works. Most important thing, warm it up first, because if you don't do that, what happens as the elastic, firstly, it gets out any brittleness where it's been in your bag or in your shed for a week or in your car for a week or whatever. It goes tight, the elastic, and what you need to do is soften it up. But the other important aspect of this as well is, if you just start with it cold, it'll either break, or what happens is it warms up, the ground bait balls start going further and further. And 16 rod lengths, I know a ball of ground bait that size, and I'm putting a dozen out, will go 16 rod lengths, providing the elastic's warmed up. If I haven't warmed it up, the first one will go 14, and then gradually it will start increasing, and you'll end up with your bait all over the place, and you can't afford to do that. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to see. No pressure. Right, that's landed just slightly to the left of my but you can see the sort of distance just slightly to the left of my marker plate. I don't know whether you can see my marker. And that one was about a foot from it. So I'm going to get the rest of them out, get my rods out. In this area, certainly in the summer, you can catch fish during the day because I've got 22 foot of water, and I've always said this, as long as you find on a big venue like this where the water's really clear, and believe me, it's really clear, As long as you're down below 20 foot of water, then fish are more likely to feed during the day. As soon as you're in less than that, you might get the odd one in, say, 17, 18 foot, but you're limiting your chances. I hope that makes sense. Cheers, guys. End of the first day, into the evening. Just starting to get dark. Had a few beeps during the day when I first cast out, and it's gone a bit quiet, just the odd beep now and then. Bats have just started coming out. Fortunately the wind's dropped a little bit, because where the wind's stronger further out, casting 3 rods out 3 foot apart wasn't so easy. It kicks at the last minute. You think, oh, that's going on the money, and then the last 10 yards it rears off to the right where the wind takes it. But I know how far to cast to the left now to make it land where I want it. But it'll change again, the wind. Yeah, I think I'll get a few, but normally in this swim I can catch during the day, and it's not proved the case today. But we'll see. Like I say, the water temperature's dropped considerably, so that's going to have an impact. Maybe even on them just finding my bait and moving as much as they normally do. But remind myself it's the middle of November and it's winter, so I'm optimistic though, but then I'm always optimistic. Cheers, guys. Bit of a wait, not particularly big fish, but it's my first fish, and it's definitely wintry conditions, that's for sure. It's not very big at all actually, probably 5.5 maybe pound I suppose, but lovely thick fish though. They're always thick over this side. Let's get her back, finish off cooking my evening meal, which I just started cooking as the phone alarm went off. Afternoon all, mid-afternoon. It's been hard going, but it's winter. Like I said earlier, the water temperature has dropped dramatically, and with that wind keeps blowing in the east. Calm now, but this is the calm before the storm. Evidently we've got weather warnings for tonight. 20-mile-an-hour winds and torrential rain. But then that depends which weather app you look at. The Met Office is showing it as broken. So rain heavy, rain light, no rain, rain heavy, rain light. We'll see. Was going to pack up and go, but got fish in front of me. Had managed a couple. Stuart's had a couple as well. But normally I catch during the day here. There doesn't seem to be as many fish as normal, and I think they've started migrating to their winter grounds, which is shallower water. And I make no secret about it, you know. Basically, Tattingstone Bay's opposite over there, and they tend to be that side of Tattingstone Bay in the winter, down towards Lemons, down towards Whitehorse. Take your pick, a lot of swims down there. Shallow at the moment, so grassy bank where it's normally 17 foot will be about probably about 13 at the moment, because the water's definitely 4 foot down. I mean, I'm normally fishing 20 yards behind me, and that's when the water's down. When it's up you can't even fish this swim. No sign of it going back up. Lovely evening. It's pleasant. I wouldn't say it was warm, it's pleasant. Yeah, and I think that's primarily because winds dropped yesterday afternoon. It was blowing almost straight at us, and it was 15 mile an hour, and it was chilly. Yeah, well, frost and snow next week, so got to make the most of this before it really turns. This, yeah, it's going to be a long haul through the winter, albeit that I don't mind going out in the winter. What's it, the Scandinavians say, no such thing as bad weather, bad clothing. And I make them right, and as long as I wrap up. I think I'm going to go to Buers next week, but it won't be when it's snowing or frosty, that's for sure. I've got acclimatised to the colder weather, so following weekend I think probably. I think Sunday it's 10 during the day, 5 at night. Balmy warm. Oh. But yeah, well, I've enjoyed what I've had to offer so far, and hopefully as that sun starts to go down, might get a few more fish. Quite often this swim hasn't been fished. Well, I haven't fished it. I'm pretty much the only one who does fish it, other than Brian, who lives locally, fishes it occasionally. Hasn't been fished for about 8 weeks, so got to wait for the fish because it's a big open bowl area here, and fish could be anywhere, and I've got to wait for them to find my ground bait. And I've had this before here and in other swims. At this time of year, they don't move as much, and there's not as many of them that are prepared to feed. And to get bites, you need that competition for food, and that comes by numbers of fish. So I hope that kind of makes sense, but yeah, that's what you want. I've been getting beeps during the day, but that kind of suggests to me there's just a handful of fish out there mooching about, and Stuart's had the same. And although he's in the next swim, he's probably fishing 100 yards or so away from me, similar depth of water, and he's getting a similar response. So I think when they're on it here, you catch all day and all night. And in the past, I've ended up packing up after one day and one night, because I've had my fill of fish. You know, I've had 30 odd fish. But that's in the middle of summer, and it's not summer, and I have to remind myself of that. So interestingly, all the indications, and 2 missed bites, blunt hook, my own fault. Missed one, should have checked my hook, I didn't. Check your hooks. So when I checked it, it felt kind of okay, but it clearly wasn't, because I've missed 2 back to back. I then tied a new hook. The next bite I had, which was exactly the same type of bite, I hooked. So check your sharpness of your hooks, don't make do, which is what a mistake a lot of people make. Oh, that'll be okay. It's like casting, oh, that'll do. Like yesterday when that wind was hurtling across the front of me, I was having to cast 15 yards to the left to land it on the spot I wanted it. And when I've got 3 rods, about 4 foot apart, 3 or 4 foot apart, I was casting 20 odd times to get me 3 rods on the spot. Just in the end, I was casting 15 yards to the left to get it to land where I wanted it to. That's fishing for you, I think, this time of year. So yeah, I hope this all makes sense. I hope you've enjoyed what I've offered up so far. Yeah, interestingly, every indication and every bite has come on the 8mm krill pellet, topped off with a bit of pink. I've had the boilie out for about 10 hours, didn't have a beep on it, and I had a combination of little 8mm boilies, krill boilies as well. Didn't have a, I don't know if you heard that. I think that might have been a pike. You can see the remnants of the ripples. Yeah, so I'm now, all 4 bites that I've had, plus all my indications, have all been on krill pellet. So yeah, cheers, I'll get back to you as and when. Last thing in the evening, light starting to go, seeing a couple of fish, a couple of bream roll, at distance though, a couple of 100 yards away. Keep my eyes peeled, I hope you see something a bit closer. Haven't had any indications for a couple of hours now. Oddly quiet. It's cold though. definitely. As soon as that sun goes down, the temperature drops. That's what we've got to come for the next 3 or 4 months. 5 months, however long it is. Come on fish, where are you? Not like last week, they were rolling everywhere. A couple of fish will do me. Catching bream in winter, it's not easy, but you can catch them, that's for sure. Just need to put the work in and the hours in. Pick the right location. And the only way you know where they are is by watching the water like this. Oh well, get the kettle on I think. Cup of coffee wouldn't go amiss. Cheers guys. Red kite.
That ain't actually too bad, is it, Joe?
Looking at my ground bait.
No.
You know, it's not.
Evening, it's 9 o'clock, I'm in the car. I'm absolutely soaked to the skin. Finished on 3 fish. Only got a photo of one of them, I'm afraid. Didn't go out for the other ones in this rain, it's chucking it down. Stuart, bless him, staying on. It's meant to get heavier as well. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to offer. It was hard, tough going this week, but it's winter conditions and the fish are responding accordingly. So might not go next week, frost and snow, but I'll have a think. Might go the following week somewhere. Cheers guys, thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.